Welcome to One Family at a Time. I am Dr. Sheila Halpin. Today, we will be discussing how to prevent summer brain drain. Research from the National Center for Summer Learning at Johns Hopkins University tells us that every child will lose school year learning over the summer months. Children can lose 1 to 2 months of math skills and 1 to 3 months of reading skills. This is especially true for our early learners. Today we will be discussing VPK and what parents can do to prevent a vacation from learning. I am being joined by Pam Parmenter, Quality Initiatives Program Manager for the Early Learning Coalition, and Carrie Whidden, VPK Program Manager for the Manatee County School Board. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you.
Early learners and summer fun. We know that children that participate in early learning programs do better when they come to kindergarten. What is early learning?
Early learning is the foundation for the rest of a person's learning life. It's when we learn what the world is like, we learn how to relate to other people, and we learn how we relate to things.
We have a state-funded program called Voluntary Pre-K, or VPK, and we have that throughout our community at different child care facilities and the public schools.
So if I was a parent and I was interested in participating in the VPK program, where would I go to get information on that?
The first place to visit would be the Early Learning Coalition at 600 8th Avenue West in Palmetto, or going to the website at www.elc-manatee.org. There are several pieces of information on there for parents about VPK. First of all, it is an entitlement program in the state of Florida. A constitutional amendment provides that all children who reside in the state of Florida who are 4 years old on or before September 1st are entitled to a free voluntary pre-kindergarten program.
So this is something that is just in Florida?
The voluntary pre-kindergarten program that we're talking about, yes, but 45 of the 50 states have early learning programs. And they're all construed differently, but a 4-year-old is a 4-year-old is a 4-year-old. So the majority of them will be doing programming or offering programming that is very similar.
So you can participate in voluntary pre-K programs throughout our county?
Throughout our county, throughout the state, yes.
So once you obtain your certificate of eligibility from the Early Learning Coalition of Manatee County, then you can take your certificate and bring it to any child care facility, whether it's a private child care facility or a public school district.
And how would parents choose which program would best suit their child's needs?
The parent would be able to talk with a family services counselor at the Early Learning Coalition and give that counselor information about what their needs are. Does that parent need a care facility that is near a bus line? Does that parent need an extended day program? Some voluntary pre-kindergarten programs have extended days, some do not. Does that parent need lunch provided, if that is the case in an extended day program? And those are all parameters that that counselor will enter into the computer, and the computer will spit out a list of referrals.
So is VPK during the school year or summer or both?
So there's two programs for VPK. One is a 540-hour school year program, and that equates to about 3 hours per day. There's also a summer program that's 300 hours of education, that children that did not participate in a school year program could then participate in the summer program.
And is there a duration or an age? At what years do children participate in this program?
Again, they must be 4 years old on or before September 1st of that particular school year and the summer after.
Okay.
Once they reach 5 years old on or before September 1st and eligibility for kindergarten kicks in, they are no longer eligible to attend a voluntary pre-kindergarten program.
And are there some commonalities between the programs? So you said all 4-year-olds have similarities. Are there some similarities between the programs?
There are. You want to take that?
Yeah. All of the VPK programs should follow the Florida developmental standards for 4-year-olds. And so that, along with early literacy training and phonological awareness training, are all the common trainings that all teachers should have.
So what does that look like? If I'm going into a VPK classroom, what does that look like?
A VPK classroom, first of all, should look like fun. All learning should be fun. That's one of the things that we want to instill in young children in the domain of approaches to learning and the standards. We want children to want to come to school. We need to be able to see when we walk in that classroom that there's a place for playing with blocks. There's a place for quiet reading. There's a place to play dress up and dramatic play. It might be playing store. But that's how we rehearse what's in the outside world. There need to be all sorts of different areas in that program that will support the standards. And it needs to be, again, fun.
What is VPK not?
VPK is not having 4-year-olds sit at a desk and teachers lecturing to young learners. It is engagement, it's fun, it's exploration, it's discovery. You can tell when you walk into a VPK classroom, which I encourage parents when they're looking for VPK programs to actually go and visit a program. Call a principal, make an appointment to go in and check out what's happening when there are children there. See the interaction between the children and the teacher. Like I said, it needs to be fun, play-based, but there needs to be some intentionality behind it too. You know, parents can look and they think that the children are playing, but there's actually intentionality by the teacher to meet those standards that we talked about.
And it should rarely be quiet. Young children think in pictures, and in order to learn to think in words and connect words to their thoughts, they need to talk among themselves and with the teacher on a daily basis throughout the day.
So parents play an important role in this process.
Absolutely they do. They can very much reinforce the conversations that took place all during the day. They can ask the child at dinner, what did you do? Nothing. Oh, well, instead of what did you do, might be, tell me about what you did in the blocks area today. Your teacher said that. And so by asking maybe a more pointed question than what did you do today, you're able to spark some more conversation, help that child access the pictures in his mind.
Parents can also visit the Office of Early Learning from the Florida Department of Education. There's the Bright Beginnings website. It has a whole tab of just parent resources. And it goes into the standards, it goes into some tips for picking out a child care facility for VPK. It's a really good website, so I would encourage them to visit that.
So because this is a voluntary program, what would be the benefits for a parent enrolling their child in this or participating in this program?
I think one of the best statistics that we have is that since the very beginning of voluntary pre-kindergarten, every year the statistics have borne out that those children who have attended either a part year or a full year of voluntary pre-kindergarten have consistently outscored all other children from all economic strata in being ready for kindergarten, whether they attended part year or full year. And so that's one benefit, that you are helping your child to be ready for kindergarten. It is not a babysitting service. That is in the way distant past. It is not a babysitting service. It is an educational program designed to help parents, to help the child, and to help the child himself to be ready for the rigors of school.
Sheila, also I've talked to principals for kindergarten programs that say that the children who participated in the VPK program actually model for the children that haven't. So they know how to stand in line, and they know the routine, they know how to, some of the social emotional behaviors that are required for kindergarten. So not only are they ready, but they're also modeling for the children that were unable to participate in the program. So it's been such a win-win opportunity for our kids and our community.
It sounds like it. It sounds like it's a win-win for families and for our
It
schools.
is. It absolutely
Definitely.
is.
So if you had any final thoughts for why parents should get information, what would you like to say to our families?
I would like to say to the families that to me this is a no-brainer. Free program, really highly qualified professionals and resources offering it. V8 moment.
Carrie, do you have any final thoughts on why parents should get information on the VPK program or enroll their children in the program?
Well, parents and families are really the child's first educator. So it's so nice to have that collaboration, and VPK gives us that opportunity. I always tell our VPK teachers, you're not only teaching our children, but you're also engaging our parents in the program. So it's a really good opportunity to see what your 4-year-old's doing and get involved in their life.
Excellent. Well, when we come back, we're going to be talking about some more summer activities for family engagement to continue learning over the summer. But thank you so much for giving us the information on this, and hopefully parents will take advantage of it and participate in our programs.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll be right back. The Early Learning Team of the Manatee County School Board has developed a summer family field trip program for your family. This program is free. No transportation is provided. But for each week of summer, the Early Learning Team will meet your family at a community location and provide a fun and exciting learning activity. These activities will help maintain your child's school year learning over summer. It will give your child the chance to practice and keep the skills he and she has worked hard to achieve all school year. The Summer Family Field Trip program is divided into 9 weeks of activities. Each week will focus on reading, math, science, or technology. All weeks will include fun, imagination, exploration, and wonder. Families are invited to attend as many weeks as they can. Each week, families will receive materials to take home that will continue to build your child's confidence and skills. Welcome back, ladies.
Thank you.
We are going to talk about intentional learning opportunities for families over the summer. And you know we have developed a summer family field trip for our early learning families. And our first activity is going to be held at the Central Library, downtown Bradenton, and it's going to be hosted by the ELC. We're doing something called Blockfest. Pam, what is Blockfest?
Blockfest is a parent engagement program that was developed by the University of Idaho in response to home visitors and classroom visitors of pre-K programs discovering that there was little to no block play, little to no math, and little to no science occurring in those settings on a regular basis. So the University of Idaho team selected 5 different types of non-interlocking blocks set up in exhibits, and they developed a script for the leader to use and talk with the parents about before the parents and the children rotate through these centers, asking the parents to watch how their children learn. How does the child make the choices that he or she is going to make? What kind of structures the child is making, What kind of social interactions are taking place between that child and other children who are in there? And then guiding the families on some questions that they can use to extend the child's learning in those different areas. They also have placards, A-frames at each of the 5 stations describing the blocks and what a child can learn with those blocks. And then large banner displays talking about the benefits of block play, and persons like Frank Lloyd Wright, the architect, who credits his architectural genius and motivation to playing with blocks.
And while you're playing with blocks, you're also learning math and
and
science. Carrie, you were at one of the block fests that we held at one of our district schools, and what was your experience with that?
It was phenomenal, and not only we had kind of an interesting experience in our foam blocks, which are big blocks. There was one block that kind of looks like a U, and we were trying to build buildings, but this child picked up the block and made a giant telephone. And so then him and I had a conversation with the phone, and we were passing it back and forth. So it went way beyond math and science and went into language and communication. And we just sat there back and forth. You know, he kept thinking, hold on. So it was a really neat, because I didn't expect that. We were planning to build buildings and all of that, and he just picked up this block and he said, "It's for you, Miss Carrie." So it was very, very sweet.
Well, one of the insights I had when I participated in Blockfest was there are different types of blocks that our families may not have in their homes and children may not have access to, because some of the blocks are large and you can build forts and you can develop things and create things that you may not have the opportunity to do so in your home. And one of my observations was when Pam and I had done a Blockfest was the parents and children came in together, and then the children would say, well, I want to play in this center with these type of blocks. And the parents were saying, but I want to go over here. So you had families that didn't know which area to go to first because it was so new and exciting, and the parents were so engaged. So you had families playing together and creating, but also learning math and science while they were doing it.
Many of the terms that we heard during these visits were the positional words: in, out, around, beside. Those are words that children have to have a good connection to and understanding of to be successful with solving their kindergarten math problems and virtually all their math problems beyond. The one-to-one correspondence that they use when they have a really quality person in that area, encouraging the parents to ask the child, well, let's count and see how many blocks that you have actually used, and then making sure that the touch and the word match. And that one-to-one correspondence is the basis of the rest of our math for the rest of our lives.
And the other language that we developed after we did count the blocks was the patterns. Was there a pattern in the play? Were your blocks horizontal or were your blocks vertical? And just giving the parents the language to support their child's learning that you may not naturally do at home, but then once you're introduced to it, it's like, that's right, that block is positioned that way and I can use that word, and it gives my child that terminology.
So this is where the math, the science, and the language and literacy all intersect, because then we ask the parents to ask some supportive questions. Well, if I were down here, and I were this little and down here, and I wanted to get up here to the top of your structure, how could I do that? And now we have the children thinking, and again, young children think by talking. And so we're trying to elicit that oral language practice as well as their thought process and problem solving.
Sheila, also we had at the cardboard boxes, so all the different cardboard center boxes at the one center, parents were like, these are really neat. The kids really enjoyed that. And then the parents got together and they said, well, let's get some cereal boxes and tissue boxes. And they were going to collaborate, and they were going to try to do some of this at home, even though they didn't have the official blocks. They were going to make and modify, which I thought was really neat, and an extra
to take that a step further, the little foil pouch drink packs that usually come in a box of 10, those packages, those cardboard packages, are excellent, and they're almost the same shape as the brick blocks. So once the foil drinks are gone, just run a piece of packing tape across the top. You can use, the parents can collect these and use them just as is, or you can have a family project, get some contact paper, the adhesive paper that has different colors, and wrap it around them and make all different things. You put shapes on them, whatever you'd like as a family.
So the extension activities
Exactly.
that can develop from participating in this. So the first event that we're hosting for this summer is going to be at the library, and it is going to be Blockfest, and it's pretty much an all-day activity. Families are invited to attend from 10 until 3 that day, and they can come out and experience this with their children. But if I had a child that was a little bit older, is Blockfest still relevant to them too?
Blockfest was developed for children 8 months to 8 years of age. So yes, the younger children, because of the makeup of the block, some of them are smaller, some have, like the unit cubes, have a little bit of a rougher edge. Their more pointed edge would not be as not be as appropriate for children under the 8 months age. But most of the children, we've had children from 8 months through 8 years. And most of the adults that we've had play in the blocks have enjoyed it too.
They sure have. They didn't want to wrap up when we hosted the event. What are some other activities? If I'm with my child all summer, and summer is a long time, and maybe they participated in the year-long VPK program, and now we're coming into summer and I'm going to have some time with my child. What are some other activities I can do to engage my child over summer that we already might be doing, but to incorporate learning in those activities?
Well, being a mother of twins, a difficult task for me was grocery shopping. So little things like, we created bingo cards and we cut out pictures, and so while I was doing the shopping, the kids were trying to mark off the items, and then someone got bingo and we were able to get a cookie or a balloon or something like that. So and also making lists. I mean, there's so many opportunities at a grocery store. If you just put, again, a little bit of intentionality and a little bit of planning before you go, it's going to make your trip a lot easier, and the kids will actually be using their brain while you're going through the grocery store.
In one of our summer field trip weeks, we are actually all going to meet at a grocery store, and we are going to be sharing tips with parents while they're walking through the grocery store, how to engage their children. Because when we had gone out, we had seen maybe there wasn't as much vocabulary going on because you're in such a hurry to get through the store with your child. But if you take a few minutes, there's a lot of math that can be developed in that walk through the store and shopping, such as how many cans we're putting in our cart, or stacking items, or what colors are we seeing.
Right.
So you're right, Carrie, there's so much. If we just develop that language and that vocabulary, the intentionality of a shopping trip becomes a learning experience.
The cereal aisle is just so prime for all this math and for comparison. The national brands typically have the family size, the regular size, and the small sizes. So you can talk about big, bigger, biggest, or small, smaller, smallest. You can talk about all sorts of types of comparisons, or which ones are higher on the shelves and which ones are lower on lower shelves. So there's a lot that can be done. Which area of the store is cooler? Which area of the store is warmer? Why do you think that is?
And also looking for letters and
Yes.
numbers in the grocery
Yes.
store. There are a lot of different activities you can do with that. Who can find the number one? What comes after the number one? And then the colors. In the grocery store, on the cereal boxes, as you were saying, Pam, we have all the different letters.
Yes,
What letters can you identify?
absolutely.
So we have some other activities planned for this summer, and some of them might be involving with your family, taking a walk around your neighborhood. What are some questions you should be asking your child when you're walking around your neighborhood?
Well, we could identify the shape of the stop sign. What else?
The color of the stop sign.
Color, the word.
That's right.
Well, and also you can take that one step further, the traditional I Spy game, but you could add some of the oral language and vocabulary. I spy a rectangle. I spy, a number of things depending on what area you want to focus on, but going a little bit further. Also, again, with the communication, meeting your neighbors if they're out and about, introducing yourself, introducing the children. All those things are wonderful.
And talking about the different jobs, I would imagine. So if you see somebody in a mail truck or in a garbage truck, what are they doing? What is their job? What is their profession? And having those conversations to introduce our families to our neighborhoods and the different
Absolutely.
jobs.
And beyond that, what are my jobs in the home? One-to-one correspondence can be really, really assisted by having the child put out a napkin for each person in the family. So how many people are there? They have to count. Then they have to do the one-to-one with the napkins or the silverware or whatever. Children can tear lettuce for fine motor skills over the summer and really build that up. The fine motor build up and the large motor will help their writing skills later.
In laundry, a chore in the
Yes.
house, laundry, we can do sorting in size and talking about folding in fine motor and large motor involved with laundry.
Absolutely.
Even your traditional lemonade stand is so much fun. The children love it. It talks money. It's business plan. We set up a whole business plan when we did our lemonade stand, and it was just a lot of fun. So those things that you normally do are very educational. Again, you just need to put a little intentionality behind it.
Well, it sounds like intentionality and purpose are some words that we should be going into summer with for our families. Now, I do know that we want to wrap up now, but we have an exciting time that we'll be out in the community and meeting with families. So Pam and Carrie, do you have any final words for our families as to going into the summer and some of the activities that we've talked about and maybe we'll be having for our families later on?
We really look forward to having all the families come, as many as can, to Blockfest and participating throughout the summer. But don't forget those wonderful things that you're already doing at home. Make sure that even though it's still light in the evenings before the children go to bed, that there's someone reading them a story, their favorite story, and really getting into it and not sit down, be quiet and listen to this, but wow, I wonder what he's going to do next, and really eliciting lots of conversation and warm, fuzzy feelings. They have to love to read in order to want to read.
And I would just encourage families to stay engaged, discover, explore, stay connected, and have fun. Summer goes by quick. Enjoy it, every day of it.
And reading is thinking. And it is. Summer is a long time, but it is a lot of fun, and we need to take advantage of those learning opportunities.
There are a lot of free events and free places to go and enjoy. Take a piece of duct tape and put it inside out around the child's wrist and have them attach their little pine cones and seed pods to it while you take a walk and come back home and look at that and talk about it then. But all sorts of things that can be done free of charge.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. I think we've given families a lot of ideas, and we hope to meet them out at our activities this summer.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We are excited to help you to support your child's learning over the summer. Don't take a vacation from learning. Come and join us to stop summer brain drain. For details about the summer field trip program, visit the Manatee County School Board's website or contact me at 941-751-6550, extension 2332. Thank you for joining us. We will see you again on One Family at a Time.